She was always there, yet nobody ever noticed her. The mansion was huge, filled with golden lights, expensive carpets, and walls covered in art worth millions. But in the middle of all that wealth, she moved like a shadow. She was the cleaning lady. Small, quiet, never speaking more than a few words. Her shoes made no sound on the floor, and her hands moved quickly, dusting, sweeping, polishing. To the millionaire, she was invisible. Just another worker, another name on a long list of staff. He hardly remembered her face. But if someone had looked closer, they would have seen her eyes. Eyes that watched everything. Eyes that remembered too much. Every night, when the mansion was empty and silent, she did something strange. After cleaning, she would sit alone in the corner of a room with only a small notebook. Her hands, tired from work, would still move. She would write. Fast, silent, never stopping. But these were not normal notes. They were not shopping lists, not reminders. The words were sharp, cold, and sometimes, frightening. She wrote about the millionaire. She wrote about his secrets. She wrote about things nobody should know. On Tuesday, she left a note under the armchair in his office. It said, "The deal will fail. The man with the red tie will betray you." On Friday, the millionaire came home furious. His biggest business deal had collapsed. The partner he trusted most had walked away. That man had been wearing a red tie. The cleaning lady said nothing. She just cleaned the glass table, slowly, like nothing had happened. The millionaire did not notice the note at first. But one evening, as he sat in his office drinking, his hand brushed against something hidden under the chair. A folded paper. Small, neat, almost invisible. He opened it. "Do not drive tomorrow. The car will not save you." He laughed. Who had time for childish jokes? He threw the note into the trash. But the next morning, his driver called in sick. The millionaire drove his car himself. At the first turn, the brakes made a terrible noise. The car almost hit the wall before stopping. His hands shook on the steering wheel. That night, he searched the trash can. The note was still there. The words looked darker now, heavier, as if they had been waiting for him to believe. The mansion felt different after that. Every corner seemed to hide a secret. Every quiet sound made him nervous. He started to look at the cleaning lady in a new way. She was always silent. Always working. But why did her eyes never blink when she wrote? Why did she never use an eraser? Why did she never make mistakes? He tried to watch her, but she moved like smoke, disappearing from one room to another. If he asked her something, she only nodded or gave one-word answers. "Yes, sir." "No, sir." "Clean now." But when she was alone, her pen flew across the page like lightning. One night, curiosity took control of him. The millionaire waited until she left and went searching. In the storage room, under a pile of rags, he found a small notebook. He opened it. His hands turned cold. Page after page was filled with dates, names, events. Some already true, some not yet happened. And in the middle of the book, one sentence made his breath stop. "He thinks I am only a cleaning lady." The notebook fell from his hand. The words echoed in his mind. She knew. She knew he was reading. From that night, the mansion no longer felt like his own. It felt like hers. Every time he saw her wiping the table, arranging books, or sweeping the hall, he wondered, Was she cleaning, or was she watching? He tried to fire her, but when he opened his mouth, the words died. Something inside whispered, if she leaves, the notes stop. If the notes stop, you are blind. And he was afraid of being blind. Then, one evening, it happened again. A note. This time, hidden inside his favorite book. The window will break. Do not stand near it. The next day, while he was working, a bird crashed into the glass wall of his office. The huge window shattered. Sharp pieces of glass fell exactly where he usually stood. He froze. She had been right again. That night, he looked for her. He wanted answers. But when he entered the hall, she was already there. Standing still, holding her notebook, her face calm, her eyes deep like endless water. And for the first time, she spoke more than one sentence. Her voice was low, steady. I am not here to clean, sir. The millionaire's heart pounded. She closed the notebook slowly, as if sealing a secret. I am here to warn. And then she walked away, leaving only silence, and fear. The millionaire could not sleep that night. Her words kept circling in his mind. I am not here to clean. I am here to warn. Who was she? Why him? The mansion, once a place of comfort, now felt like a trap. Every shadow seemed alive, every corner seemed to whisper her voice. The next morning, he told himself it was nonsense. Maybe she was just strange. Maybe she enjoyed games. But then, another note appeared. This time, it was placed on his desk perfectly folded, as if waiting for his eyes. Do not trust the man on the phone at noon. He smiles, but his knife is ready. At exactly noon, the phone rang. It was a business partner, speaking with honey in his voice, promising big profits, begging for a quick signature. The millionaire hesitated. Her note burned in his pocket. He refused the deal. 2 hours later, he learned the company had collapsed. The man was arrested for fraud. The millionaire sat in his chair, pale. How could she know? Every day after that, new notes appeared. Sometimes on his desk. Sometimes in his pockets. Sometimes even under his pillow. Each note warned him. Small things at first. Do not eat the soup. Do not walk the left staircase. Check the lock twice. Every time, she was right. The soup had glass inside it. The left staircase collapsed under the gardener's feet. And one night, the front door lock had been broken. It was no longer coincidence. The millionaire decided to watch her. He ordered cameras in every hall, every room, every corner. If she was hiding secrets, he would discover them. That night, he sat in his office, eyes glued to the screens. On one camera, she was in the library. She held her notebook, pen in hand. He leaned forward. Her hands moved fast, too fast. Words spilled across the page like water. She never paused, never thought, never erased. It was as if the words already existed, and she was only copying them from somewhere else. Then something happened that froze his blood. On the screen, her head lifted. Her face turned directly to the camera. Her eyes looked straight into the lens, as if she could see him. And she smiled. The millionaire jumped back, heart racing. He shut off the screen. But the image of her eyes stayed inside him like fire. The next day, he confronted her. Who are you? What are these notes? How do you know? She stood with her mop, silent. Then, slowly, she answered. It is not knowing. It is listening. Listening to what? He demanded. To the words that are already written, she whispered. The world speaks. But most people are deaf. The millionaire felt a chill. And you can hear it? Her eyes did not blink. Yes. That night, he could not resist. He searched her storage room again. This time, he found not one notebook, but many. Dozens of them, stacked neatly, filled with her sharp handwriting. He opened one. Inside were dates years before she even worked in his mansion. The pages spoke of disasters, deaths, wars, and broken empires. Some events matched history perfectly. Some had not yet happened. One page stopped him cold. It described him. His childhood fears. His darkest memory. The secret he never told anyone. The words, he hides behind money, but he is still afraid of the night when the fire took everything. The millionaire dropped the notebook. His chest tightened. Nobody knew about that night. Not even his closest family. The next morning, he found a sealed envelope on his desk. Her handwriting again. On the front was a single date, tomorrow. Inside, no words, only drawings. Strange shapes like machines, like weapons, like maps of places he did not recognize. He stormed into the hall, waving the envelope. What is this? He shouted. But she only looked at him with calm eyes. It is coming, she said simply. And you must choose your side. For hours, he sat in his office, staring at the envelope. His empire, his wealth, his world, all of it suddenly felt small. She was only a cleaning lady. Yet her notes were more powerful than all his millions. That night, he dreamed of fire, of glass breaking, of voices whispering in the dark. When he woke, his hands were shaking. On his bedside table, another note waited. Do not be afraid of me. Be afraid of what I protect you from. The paper trembled in his grip. What was she protecting him from? And why did he feel that the answer was getting closer step by step, hour by hour? The envelope with the date sat on his desk like a living thing. Tomorrow. The millionaire could not tear his eyes away from it. He tried to work, but every time he lifted his pen, he saw her handwriting instead. He tried to sleep, but every time he closed his eyes, he dreamed of machines, of strange maps, of battles in the dark. And the question burned inside him. What would happen tomorrow? That night, he stayed awake in his office, waiting. The house was silent, the air heavy. Every tick of the clock was louder than the last. At midnight, he heard it. The faint scratch of a pen. He turned quickly. Through the glass of the office door, he saw her. The cleaning lady. Sitting at the table in the hall, notebook open, her hand flying across the page. He watched in silence. She didn't pause, didn't think. Her hand moved too fast, too perfect, like she was writing words already carved into stone. He pushed the door open. Enough. She stopped. Slowly, her head rose. Her eyes found his. Calm. Unshaken. You are not writing warnings, he said. His voice shook. You are writing the future. She closed the notebook. It is not the future. It is what waits in the shadows. The millionaire stepped closer. What are you? Who are you? For a long moment, she said nothing. Then, in a quiet voice, I am a listener. A listener. Her eyes seemed older than her face. Most people hear noise. Few hear the truth. I was taught to listen. And now I write what I hear. The millionaire's skin crawled. And why me? Why my house? Why my life? Because you must choose. Choose what? Her answer was only silence. The next day came. The date in the envelope. He woke before sunrise. Fear gripped his chest. All morning he waited, expecting disaster. But nothing happened. The sky was calm. The city outside was the same. By evening, he almost laughed. Perhaps it was all madness. Perhaps she was only a strange woman with clever tricks. Then the news broke. The television showed flames, smoke, and people screaming. A factory outside the city had exploded. The cameras caught strange shapes in the sky, moving too fast to be planes. Shadows, sharp and mechanical, flickering through the smoke. The millionaire leaned forward, pale. Those shapes, he had seen them before. They were the same as the drawings in her envelope. He switched the TV off. His hand shook. His stomach turned cold. That night, he found her waiting in his office. No mop, no bucket, no cleaning tools. Only her notebook. "You saw it," she said softly. He nodded. His voice was hoarse. "What are they?" Her eyes darkened. "They are the ones who do not want you to survive." He swallowed hard. "Why me?" "Because you have power. You can build. You can lead. And soon, you will have to decide if you stand with them, or against them." The millionaire's head spun. "Them? Who are they?" "Aliens. Machines. Governments." Her lips curved in the smallest of smiles. "Names do not matter. Only sides." He stared at her notebook. "And if I choose wrong?" Her eyes did not blink. "Then your world burns." For the first time, fear gripped him deeper than money or failure. This was not about deals or partners or broken glass. This was bigger. Something vast. Something hidden in the shadows of the world. He whispered, "And you? Who do you stand with?" She opened her notebook again. The pages fluttered like wings. "With those who must survive." Later that night, when the mansion was quiet again, the millionaire replayed the camera footage he had saved. On the screen, she sat in the hall, writing. But this time, he slowed the recording. Frame by frame. And then he saw it. Her hands, sometimes they blurred. Not like human hands. They moved too quickly, too smoothly. At times, they almost looked like lines of light, not flesh at all. His chest tightened. He pressed pause. On the screen, her eyes glowed faintly in the dark, a shimmer of silver, gone too fast for the naked eye. She was not just a cleaning lady. Not human. Not entirely. And yet, she was the only one protecting him. The next morning, he entered his office. On his desk, a single note waited. "The war is not far. The choice is near." His hands trembled as he folded the paper. He had lived his whole life thinking money made him powerful. But now, standing in the silence of his mansion, he understood. His real power was about to be tested. And the cleaning lady, whatever she was, had chosen him for a reason. The shadows were moving closer. And tomorrow, they would no longer hide. The millionaire thought he understood power. He had ruled companies, crushed rivals, and built an empire of glass and steel. But all of that felt small now. Useless. Because the shadows he saw on the news were real. And the cleaning lady had warned him before they came. She was no longer just a servant in his house. She was something else, something he could not explain, something he could not control. The next evening, he demanded answers. "You knew about the factory," he said, his voice low. "You drew those machines before anyone saw them. Tell me, what are they?" She looked at him, calm as always. "They are not new. They have always been here. Hidden. Testing. Preparing." His throat tightened. Preparing for what? Her answer was sharp, simple. For war. He laughed, but there was no joy in it. War? Against who? "Against you," she whispered. The words cut deeper than any blade. He felt suddenly exposed, as if the walls of his mansion could no longer protect him. "You expect me to believe this?" he asked. She stepped closer, holding out her notebook. He hesitated, then opened it. Inside were pages filled with sketches. Not just machines this time, but battlefields. Cities burning. Men and women running. Towers collapsing. In every drawing, the sky was filled with strange shapes, cold, sharp, mechanical. And in the corner of each page, a small figure always stood apart. A man in a suit. Alone. Watching the fire. The millionaire's blood turned cold. That man was him. For the first time, his pride cracked. "Why me?" he whispered. "Why am I in your notes?" Her eyes were steady. "Because you will matter. You can lead, or you can fall. They will come to you. And you will have to choose." He shook his head. "I'm no soldier." "You are more," she said softly. "You have what they fear, power over others. Men follow wealth. They trust strength. And when the shadows arrive, they will look to you." He sank into his chair, dizzy. He had always fought for profit, for numbers. But this was survival. That night, he tried to distract himself with work. But when he turned on the television, the screen flickered with strange static. Then, for a second, he saw something. A face, metal, inhuman, cold, watching him through the static. The image vanished. His skin crawled. He shut the TV off. And then he found it. On his desk lay another note. He had not seen her enter, yet the paper was there. "They are looking at you now. Do not let them see fear." His chest tightened. They were watching him. Through screens, through signals, maybe through walls. And she knew. The next day, news spread again. Strange disappearances in the city. People gone without a trace. Families reporting loved ones missing overnight. Police confused. No answers. The millionaire tried to ignore it, but his phone buzzed. A message from a friend in government. It was short, panicked. "You are not safe. They want you." He dropped the phone. His heart pounded. The world he thought he knew was falling apart. That night, he confronted her again. "Why me?" His voice cracked. "Why not someone else? A general? A president? Why choose me?" Her answer was calm, almost gentle. "Because generals are watched. Presidents are controlled. You are free. Hidden behind your money. Forgotten by them." Her eyes glowed faintly in the dark. "You are invisible. And that makes you dangerous." The millionaire stared at her, speechless. Then came the sound. A low hum, deep and unnatural, filling the mansion. The glass walls vibrated. Lights flickered. He ran to the window. Outside, in the night sky, shapes moved. Not planes. Not helicopters. Silent, sharp, glowing faintly. One broke away and hovered over his house. His body froze. His breath stopped. The cleaning lady stepped beside him, notebook in hand. She whispered, "They have found you." The hum grew louder, rattling his bones. A beam of pale light swept across the mansion. Windows cracked. The ground trembled. He fell back against the wall, terrified. What do they want? Her eyes stayed fixed on the light. They want to erase what I gave you. The warnings. The choice. Then stop them, he shouted. She shook her head. Not yet. It is not my fight. It is yours. The beam vanished. The hum faded. The shapes in the sky slipped away as if melting into the stars. The mansion was silent again. He turned to her, voice shaking. What if I refuse? What if I don't choose? She looked at him for a long time. Then she handed him another note, folded tight. When he opened it, his hands shook. The words were simple. If you refuse, you die. If you choose wrong, the world dies. He dropped the paper. His knees felt weak. And for the first time in his life, the millionaire wished he were poor. Because money could not save him from this. The mansion no longer felt like a home. It felt like a battlefield waiting to happen. The millionaire locked his doors, sealed his windows, and filled his rooms with guards. But deep inside, he knew none of it mattered. Locks could not stop shadows. Guards could not fight what moved in the sky. And she, his cleaning lady, had already told him the truth. This was his fight. For 3 days, she did not appear. No notes. No whispers. No sound of her mop against the marble floor. The millionaire told himself he was glad. Without her, the house felt normal again. He could drink his wine, walk his halls, sit in silence. But it was a lie. Every corner seemed emptier. Every sound seemed wrong. And then, on the 4th night, he found it. A note on his pillow. Folded carefully, placed where his head had rested. He had been sleeping on it without knowing. He unfolded it with shaking hands. When the sky burns, remember your choice saves them. His chest tightened. His hands trembled. It was not just about him anymore. It was about everyone. That evening, the city screamed. Alarms echoed in the streets. People ran. Windows shattered. From the sky, the shadows descended cold, mechanical, inhuman. They moved like hunters, silent but deadly, scanning the city with beams of white light. The millionaire stood on his balcony, frozen in terror. Above him, the sky burned red and orange as fire spread from one building to another. This was it. The moment she had warned him about. Suddenly, his phone rang. A voice shouted over the chaos. It was a government official. They want you, the voice cried. They've asked for you by name. If you surrender, they'll leave the city. The millionaire's blood turned cold. Me? Why me? The voice on the phone stuttered. We don't know. But they say you matter. He hung up, shaking. His mind raced. If he surrendered, maybe the city would be saved. But what if it was a trick? What if surrender meant the world would fall? Her words came back to him. If you refuse, you die. If you choose wrong, the world dies. The mansion shook. Glass rained down as a beam of light cut across his garden. He fell to his knees, covering his head. And then he heard her voice. Not through his ears, but inside his mind. Calm. Steady. Do not give them what they want. Give them what they fear. He gasped. He turned, but she wasn't there. Only silence. Only shadows. But he knew she was watching. Somewhere. Somehow. The millionaire rose to his feet. For the first time, his fear turned into something else. Anger. Defiance. He grabbed his phone and called the official back. His voice was strong, louder than the chaos outside. Tell them no, he said. Tell them if they want me, they'll have to fight for me. Tell them I will not bow. The official shouted in panic, but he ended the call. His choice was made. The night grew darker. The shadows circled above the mansion, their lights cutting through the smoke. The millionaire stood tall in his hall, surrounded by glass and silence. For the first time, he did not feel small. He felt ready. Then, on his desk, he saw it. Her notebook. He had never heard her enter. Never saw her leave it there. But it was waiting. Inside, only one page was written. You chose. Now they will know. And now, you are not alone. At that moment, the sky split open. From the fire and smoke came other shapes bright, fierce, glowing with energy. They clashed with the shadows in blinding flashes of light. The war had begun. The millionaire watched from his balcony, breathless. His city burned, but the fight was not hopeless. For the first time, he realized the truth, her notes had not been warnings only. They had been preparation. She had prepared him to stand. To refuse. To choose. And now, the battle had arrived. By dawn, the city was broken but still alive. Smoke rose from the streets, fire smoldered in the distance. The shadows had retreated into the clouds, leaving silence behind. The millionaire returned to his office. The notebook still lay open on his desk. But this time, a final note waited beside it. I am gone. You will not see me again. But remember, your choice has already changed everything. He held the paper in his trembling hands. She was gone. The woman who had been invisible, a simple cleaning lady, had vanished like smoke. But her voice stayed in his mind. Her eyes stayed in his memory. And the war she warned him about was not over. The millionaire walked to the window. The city below was broken, but people were alive. He whispered to himself, almost as if speaking to her. I will not let it burn. Not while I live. And for the first time, he understood. He was not just a man of money anymore. He was part of something greater. The final note lay on his desk, glowing faintly in the morning light. And outside, far beyond the smoke, the sky was still waiting.